Good morning. Beautiful Saturday morning. Although you wouldn't know it, I have the garage door closed. That's so I don't have to compete with the loud cars going by. Anyhow, if you recall my last video, I attempted to start the changing of my serpentine belts, and I got as far as removing the filter boxes. When I got to the passenger filter box, I found oil leading into the turbocharger, and I just freaked. So I just want to let you guys know it's perfectly normal to find that. If you decide to change it, use this video as your guide to change your serpentine belts, and you remove the filter boxes and you find oil on the passenger side leading to the turbocharger, that's perfectly normal. And I explained in my last video why and where it was coming from. And I'll post a link to that video in the description below. But anyhow, I'm doing this for the very first time. So we are going to be doing it together for the very first time. I'd also like to mention I'm still looking for ideas as to what I should rename my YouTube channel to. I got an idea on Facebook that I really like, and I might add something to it. But I know I don't have that many subscribers, and in a previous video I wanted to only use ideas from subscribers, but I don't have that many subscribers yet. So I like this guy's idea. I may use it, maybe add something to it, but I still want to get suggestions. I still want to get some more suggestions. So if you have a suggestion, please post your suggestion in the comments below. Anyhow, let's get started after I finish my tea. First thing we need to do is we need to get the filter covers and the filters up. Okay, and each filter cover has 3 clips, and this one in particular has a line that you have to remove from it. Then you just undo the clips. There we go. There we go. Then remember, don't put any tools here, might fall into the fender. Just remove this whole piece here. Pull the filter out. Remove this thing here. And I'll do the other one off camera. Okay, we also need to remove this cover. And put this aside. Okay, we're going to have to remove, or not remove it, but we'll have to remove this center rubber part here that connects the intake Y tube to the throttle body. So we need to remove this. We need to remove this. Before you do this, though, you should disconnect the negative terminal on the battery. Before removing any electrical connections in the engine. I forgot to mention that in my previous video when I did the spark plugs. I did do that. It's a good idea to remove the negative terminal in the battery when you're pulling any electrical wires. I did that off camera. You can refer to your owner's manual. There's a section in there on how to remove the negative terminal on the battery. So we'll go ahead and get started on this. Okay, this is the tube here that leads underneath there, right here. Right underneath here. And this is the golden clip right here that you need to pop. Right there. So what you need to do is get underneath that and pull down on it. I'm going to try and do it while at the same time keeping a light on it. So, with the end not bumping the camera. So, hang on. There goes nothing. Well, I guess you can see it fine just like that. You don't need light. Okay. So you stick your screwdriver underneath there. Come on, you get underneath there. It can be hard. There. See how I got the screwdriver underneath it there? And you just pull down on it far enough so that you can get your finger in there. In between there. And then you pull down. Try and get it off. Sometimes you have to pry it up on the side too to get it off all the way. Put it back. There. We got it moved over to the side here. You see? Now to get the other side. Try not to drop it. And there we go. Got it. That's what the ring looks like. And it goes on there like that. Okay? Now we can separate this from this. Okay. Now that tube back there, what we need to do is lift up on it, lift up on the filter box. It'll come up. It's just uses the same little clips as the cover does, for the engine cover down here. So you just pull up on it like that. Then you need to pull back on the tube. There we go, got it. Oops, we need to remove this. My bad. Get my tool to remove that. Oops, go like this. Right. There we go. I got that removed. And we got another hose down here I need to remove. Forgot about. There. I'll show you the clips that I forgot. And then now we need to remove the connection for the map. For the map. Map, I don't know which one it is. Anyhow. See if you notice, this is the same as these things here. There's one there, one here, one here. And it just fits down into a rubber thing. So you pull back on this yellow thing here. Most of these clips, these connectors, are the same on the car. You pull back on the yellow clip here so that we can push down on the cab and pull it off. I've had this off once before. This is the side that had the oil in the tube. I'll see if I can see if there's any more oil on there and show you. Sometimes you have to pry on the bottom here to get it over the little notch there. There we go. And, well, this side's clean, as you can tell. So just a residual of oil here, because I cleaned it up pretty good when I had it, when I undid it last time. But I'll show you down there. Okay. Don't see very much oil. A little bit down there. I can feel a little bit. Yeah. See, a little bit of oil down there. Not much. Just a film. So thick film, not a thick film, but Thin, really thin film. Hadn't had time. I guess maybe a few thousand more miles and have more oil down there. But I've only put maybe 40, 50 miles on it since, maybe 100 miles on it since I did the since I last had this apart. But this tube here leads to the turbocharger. And back in there is also, this is the air oil separator I told you about right here. And the oil comes down here, back down to the turbocharger. That's where the oil comes from. Okay, this is the driver's side filter box, and removing it is the same as the passenger side. I already pulled the clip. The clips are relatively easy to pull. It's getting them back on is what's a pain, and when we go to put this back together, I'll show you the trick I used to get it back on. This off. There's two bolts underneath here that hold it to the mount bracket here, and it's very hard to get to. So what I did is I removing this box to make it easier to get to it. So I believe it's a 12mm socket. Got my ratchet here. Oh yeah, makes it really a lot easier to get to. Let's see if it's the right side socket first. And get it on here. They're hard to see. They're hard to get to. Can't see them at all. Okay, I got both bolts out from in there. They're 12mm. Just so you know, they're 12mm. This is what they look like. And they're down underneath. They're mounted like that. The tools I used this to loosen it, and I used this to get it the rest of the way off because it was just faster than turning the ratchet. If you have a power tool that you can get down there, that's perfect. I don't have a power tool yet. As I said, I'm just a do-it-yourself backyard mechanic. So now, let me put these screws aside. We can pull back on this, like that, and we can take this off. There. And here's the tube. This has oil on it, right on the inside, but that's normal. I'll clean it up. You can see that, a little bit of oil on there, but I don't see any oil on the throttle. Well, maybe a little oil on the throttle body. I'll give you guys a look at the inside of the throttle body here quickly. That is what the inside of the throttle body looks like. Pull this back. I got a better picture of it there. That's what the inside of the throttle body looks like. Pull back a little bit. Good focus. There you go. And now we've got clear access down there. We can pull this back, and we can get to the. I'm going to test this first before I cut that alternator belt there. That's what they recommend. They recommend you cut that alternator belt. Before I cut that alternator belt, I'm going to make sure I can get the crank socket on there and crank it first. Coming up. Okay, yeah, I can get this is what I'm using here. I can get this down in there on the crank pulley, and I can turn the engine. When you turn the engine, you turn it clockwise, because that's the rotation. That's the normal rotation of the engine. You don't want to turn it the other way, because everything's used to being able to turn this way. So I got this. I ordered this on Amazon. I'll post a link to it in the description below. This is you can remove serpentine belts with this, and you can also install them with this. I don't know how well this is going to work. I've been told by the Maserati mechanics that this is somewhat of a pain in the butt to use. But I'm going to try the remove part of it and see how it goes. Just for shits and giggles. I'm going to jam this up in there. I think I can see what he's talking about. No, I can see what he's saying. This doesn't look like it's a good idea. So, one other thing. This is not going to remove it because what it's doing is it's pulling it this way. And it's not, I don't know if it's going to remove it. Okay, I ended up having to cut the damn thing. I couldn't get that tool to work. So I just cut this off. Now we can remove the big one's easy to remove. Okay, I'm pointing my light right at the pulley there, the portion, the tensioner. That's what we're going to pull down in order to release tension on the belt. So I got myself a breaker bar here. Insert it into the hole. I don't have the best tools, but that just goes to show you that anybody with some tools can do this. My trusty cheater bar. Okay, now we can pull down on this. Well. Here. And make a note of, first, you might want to make a note of how it goes on there, so you know how it's routed. But it's pretty self-explanatory. And I'll post a diagram in the description below on how it should be routed. That's a long one. There we go, got it out. Yee! Okay. Here's the belt. Here's the new one. And they look the same. Yep. So these two old ones. Let's take a closer look at this and see how bad it is. See if it's any bad. It does look old. Okay. Now that I've got that off, it's time to take a break, a beer break. Okay. After a quick beer break, actually, I'm still drinking beer. I got the main accessory belt back on. You just have to make sure. What I did is I fed it through this way in there, and I'll post the diagram of how the belt's supposed to be. It's hard to see with all this stuff in the way, I know, but you can see how it goes on top of here, and I ran it around here, down there underneath the crank pulley there. Then it comes back up over that pulley there, and on top of that pulley there, like that, and then down to the AC compressor. Around the AC compressor. I went ahead and removed the tubing for the filter box that goes back to the turbocharger, because it was hard for me to get to the belt around the AC compressor there. But you see how it's routed there. It goes up around that pulley and then back down to the crank pulley. This is hard to see, I know, I'm sorry. Around the crank pulley and then back up again over the tensioner and then around power steering pump here and back up again. There's a pulley on top here that goes on top of that. Make sure your grooves are set right. Look at it over and over and over again. Make sure the belt is completely on the pulleys and lined up perfectly. Now it's time to put the alternator belt on. This is going to be the toughie. So I'm going to give that tool a try first. I'll let you know how it goes. Let me show you how it is supposed to go on there. You see here, it's got install. And let's see if I can get a good view on that. But it goes on like, if I can hold that. I don't know if you can see that. It's hard, I know. I don't have much room. It goes on like that. Sorry, that tool worked perfect. I don't know if you can see it down there, but you can still see it on the pulley there. The belt is on the pulley now. And the tool worked perfect. There's the tool right there. You can see the silver tool there. It's still on. Once I get the engine cranked, I'll be able to pull the tool off. And better focus, yeah. Be able to pull the tool off and we'll be done. I'll just check it out, QA it, and start putting this car back together again. There, the tool worked perfect. You see, the belt is on the alternator pulley and the crankshaft pulley, and it's straight. The grooves are on there, perfect. All my belts are on. Now I can start putting this car back together again. This here is the hard part. Once I get that back on, the rest will be easy to put back on. Well, getting the belts on, for some reason, was a lot easier than getting them off. So now we can start putting this car back together again. The first thing I want to put back together is this Y tube that goes to the throttle body. And those two screws are going to be a pain in the butt. But I want to clean this out because this had oil in it. Just clean it out. Okay, to put this thing on, I like to make sure these are both facing in the same direction so they're easy to get on. You can tell which way goes which. There are ridges on this here from the outside here, and there are none on this side. So that means this side went here and this side went on this side. I don't know if you can see that. You can see the ridges are like threads. They look like threads that went on here. And the same over here. Now this is going to be under pressure. This is the pressure side. This is where your turbocharger pushes pressure into. Put it on there, put it on like that. Okay. The first one I tighten up is this one here. So tighten this one up really good. Then I tighten this one up really good. There. And that's on there. Then you can just plug your airflow sensor back in. Cable back in. There. And then push the yellow thing down. There, and then this is installed back in. Now we need to put the bolts in. That's the hard part. So this is what I'm going to do off camera. and I'll let you know how it goes. Okay, I've got this on now. The trick to getting the screws in back there, what I did is I put a piece of electrical tape, black electrical tape, over the head of the bolt to cover the whole head. Just a square piece of electrical tape, cover the whole head of the bolt. Then I stuffed it in here so that it was a nice tight fit. Then I reached around and back, and I threaded it through the hole, and I hand screwed it in first. Be very careful. Don't cross thread that. If you cross thread that, it's going to be hard to get the bolt in. It's hard enough already. Make sure you can hand thread it all the way in. You should be able to hand thread that thing all the way in. It should be a tight fit at all. So I was able to hand thread both of them in, and then tighten it down with a ratchet. The next task is to finish putting the filter boxes back in, tighten this back up again, and finish putting the car back together. Okay, putting the filter box back in. Look here, I've pre-installed the clip or clamp, whatever you want to call it. There are indentations here. Let me pull it up. There are indentations right here, one on each side, where you can pre-install the clamp so that you don't have to fuss with it when you get it in there. Again, you have to make sure that it faces this way so that these thongs fit in there. So you pre-install the clamp clip, and it's indentations like that. There's one on each side. Let me get it closer to you so you can see. There's one there and one there, and that's what it looks like pre-installed. Then with care you insert it down in here, and it can be a pain in the butt. You may have to pull it back up and reinsert this, resituate the clamp here. But first thing you need to do is plug in your mass airflow sensor. On the mass airflow sensor, you'll notice you've got tabs here. These two are closer together than these two. They'll match up on the other side here. So if you look inside there, these two indentations are closer than those two. So it will go on like this. If it goes on easy, you did it right. That did. So you just push the yellow thing in, and it's on correctly. Then you guide it in here. Careful of your clip, careful of your mass airflow sensor. Got it down in there. You may have to go underneath and guide it underneath. Let's go underneath and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, I have the camera situated like this so that I can get in there. Alrighty. Whew. So you can see I've got the clip pre-situated. I'm going to go underneath here, and let me show you this real quick for you first. Okay, you see this thing right here? That's the bottom of the tube coming from the filter box. That is a seat, a rubber seat. That's part of the frame. That's part of the car. That is supposed to sit inside the hole there. Okay, so we need to guide that, but in order to do that, we have to move the tubes up so that they match. There we go. We got it over. And we can make sure that the tubes are guiding together. Let's take a look at the tubes, see how they're doing. So you can see the clamp there. I still got the clamp pre-situated there, but the tubes still aren't quite together. So we are going to, and you can see the foot isn't quite there yet. So let's try and get it there. Almost. It's right there now. seems like it's right there next to the hole. I probably have to push down on it from the top. But let's take a look and see what's going on with the tubing. Oh, it looks like the tubing's coming together pretty good too. Let's see if we can pull them together here. That's gonna have to be done up top too. Okay, well, let's go up top, then we'll come back down. Okay, we're back up top. Let's push down. Make sure it's in its seat here. There. Push down. Now it's in its seat. And so is the tube leading to the turbocharger. So let's go back down underneath again. Looks like the tube is in there. So I'm going to push up on the clamp right here and engage it. There. Oops. It's on there. Boy. Done. Got it all back together. And now for the moment of truth. The functional test. We're going to start it up. So I'm going to set the camera here so that y'all can see what happens. And I can too, since I'll be in the car starting it up. And if it blows up, I'll have it on video. Now, here's the moment of truth for reals. If it's going to blow up, I'll have a video of it. As Flick would say on Bug's Life, it's perfect! Whew, I'm done, and I'm tired. This was a little more difficult than I thought it was going to be. On a level of 1 to 5, the spark plug being a number 1, this was a number 4. In my previous video I said it was a 3. Now, this is a level 4. It's still do-it-yourself, because I did it, and I'm just a backyard mechanic, and I'm working in my garage at home. And I don't have expensive tools. I just have 2 floor jacks and tools that most everybody else would have. But I was able to do it. And I was able to get it done. So you guys now have a guide that you can use to change the serpentine belts on your Maserati Ghibli. And with that, I'd like to thank you so much for watching my video. If you like this video, please click like, subscribe, click the bell so you'll be notified when the 4th video in the 7-part series of 70,000 mile service on my Maserati Ghibli comes out. And that is going to be changing the coolant. So, until then, and if you own a Maserati, be sure to get your thrills every day.